So today's another milestone day for the Tasmania Jewels as we get to announce a very well-known name around Tasmania. So our first contracted player is Keely Froling, which we're very excited to have on board. Keely's played 10 successful seasons in the WNBL already. She's got 2 championships under her belt. So yeah, really excited to have someone of her caliber as our first signing.
How big of a get is this? Obviously, we know how successful she is, but that's got to be huge for the club.
Yes, yeah, no, it's it's probably the world's worst kept secret that that both parties were trying to get a hold of each other. So to have somebody that now sort of represents Tasmania, is an adopted Tasmanian in her own right, to be our first signing for our contracted players is massive. She plays up north for the Northern Force, so has a bit of a an in with Tasmania and now with the Jewels. So yeah, we're very excited, and now girls can see the direct pathway from Tasmania Juniors up through the NBL 1 now to the WNBL.
How important has that aspect been in recruiting in general? I guess getting players that are familiar with Tasmania and that Tasmanians are familiar with.
Yeah, so we've made it very clear from the start that this is Tasmania's team, and we'll do our best to get Tasmanian local players into our club. And our first 3 signings have shown our genuine want and need to grow Tasmania's team with locals. So yeah, a massive signing for us, and very excited that she now has a Tasmanian driver's license, she's told us, so she is true Tasmanian now.
Do you think having Keely on board will help attract other players?
Yes, definitely. So like I said, Keely's played 10 seasons in the WNBL, 10 years of leadership growth. She's definitely a player that you want on your side. Going into war with Keely is something that you wouldn't take lightly. You'd certainly want to be on her team. I've been on the other side of playing against Keely, and she's definitely someone that you want to play with. So she's definitely got that Tasmania vibe, the grit and grind. She's all about that. So her skills, but as well as her leadership, are definitely something we were after.
You're looking at leadership too, like potential inaugural captain or anything like that at this early stage?
Yes, so obviously with her 10 years of experience, she has that leadership down pat. Ultimately, it'll be up to the team to decide on who the leadership group is, but no doubt her leadership is something that we were after.
How quickly do you see the rest of the squad coming together now? Pretty quickly, or it might drag on a little bit? Or
yeah, so we've made it clear, we'll have 10 contracted players, and this is our first signing, so we've obviously got plenty of signings to go. But yeah, our first one is just massive and really exciting day for the club.
How's the levels of interest from across the country and around the world? The phone's been ringing hot with agents and players wanting to get involved.
There's definitely been a lot of interest from a lot of different agents. Shoot. We haven't had any interest from agents. Can you ask that again, please?
Yeah, the level of interest, I suppose, from players locally, nationally, around the world, in terms of wanting to come and play for this new team. Yeah, there's been a lot of excitement around the league with us coming in. From the get-go, we had agents seeking out to us. In the early days when we didn't even have a club name or a team name, certainly no coach. So now that we're putting the pieces together, there's certainly more excitement and definitely a lot more phone calls coming in. And getting Keely, as you said, it was a worst kept secret, I suppose. But I imagine there wouldn't have been a great deal of push and pull in terms of negotiations and whatnot. It was a nice, easy one to get the ball rolling. Yeah, I mean, with every player, there's a bit of back and forth with the agents, and of course, you've got to vouch for yourselves and you've got to vouch for your club, and we've come to an agreement that both parties are ultimately happy with. And yes, the world's worst kept secret, thanks to some people we won't mention, but no, we're very excited to have Keely. She obviously was excited about the potential of her signing here from the get-go. So that's what we truly want, are people that really want to be in Tasmania, and obviously Keely just hits that off. Is there one sort of inquiry that keeps bobbing up from those sort of getting in touch with you to find out more about the team and the club and whatnot? Has there been a theme in terms of what those parties want to know about the new team? I don't know. Not necessarily what they want to know, but I think what we can provide as a women's club is certainly something not every other WNBL club can provide. So under the same ownership as the men's team,
all the same resources that the Jack Jumpers will get, our women will get. Where there's a Jack Jumpers logo, there's a Jewels logo. So I think there's just a lot of genuine excitement about how professional this club will be ran, and couldn't be more excited.
A statement?
Yeah, so St Luke's is incredibly proud to be the foundation partner for the Tasmanian Jewels. This partnership is one that's built truly on shared vision that we have, which is all about championing women and girls in sport, but also in health. And we'll create a drive for a movement to create a healthier Tasmania. But something we're also really incredibly proud, like the stories we are hearing from WNBL players, is that a lot of them, juggle work plus sport, and a lot of them do work in the allied health space, which is going to be incredible role models for the next generation to come, but also other girls who are planning on having professional sporting careers.
Must be really important for you, I suppose, to get good basketballers signed to this club, but also really good, solid people as well.
It's so important. It is an historic moment for the Tasmanian Jewels today, for the first contracted player and an absolute star recruit. And Keely, is an incredible role model on the court, but off the court as well. And, she's a qualified physiotherapist. So, injury management, it's going to be fantastic for the Jewels.
Perfect. Well, Keely, how does it feel to be a Jewels player?
Yeah, really excited. Obviously I moved here 5 years ago now, which feels like it's gone really fast. But from there I was kind of involved in seeing how the Jack Jumpers have evolved as a team, and I really wanted that for the female side and to have a WNBL team. So now we have that. I'm so excited and just really ready to go and excited for the whole state of Tasmania.
Is there a real attraction from starting a team from the ground up? Obviously there's the Jack Jumpers, but it's a fresh slate. Is that something that kind of attracted you to the role?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a lot of things that attracted me here. This is my home now, and I think to be able to build a team in this community, in a community that I've grown up in, and seen young girls and young boys grow up in as well, and be able to now have a pathway from juniors all the way up to the WNBL is something that's really special, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Was it a matter of when, not if, for you joining this new Tasmanian team?
I think so. Obviously we've all been pretty vocal about how I've been really excited to be a part of this team, and obviously there's always things that you have to work out, but it was my number one option for sure, and I'm really glad that we could make it work out.
Was it an easy negotiation process, given both parties seem to want it to happen?
Yeah, Brent. Yeah, it was. Obviously we're waiting for free agency start, coaching announcements, all those sorts of things. They're all little things that you have to weigh up as an athlete, and we kind of checked off all those boxes, and then it was a pretty easy decision from there.
Can you have those conversations while you're still playing, or did it have to actually wait? Could you even privately discuss that?
Yeah, you can't with all the rules and stuff, and obviously I don't think Claudia was even announced until post free agency, or just before anyway, so we kind of had no idea, and I'd really try to stay focused. Obviously I was committed to a team last year, so I've stayed focused with that, and then once free agency started, that's when you can get excited and kind of make plans.
You've got a really special connection with the coach too. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, so I've known Chloe for a really long time. I grew up watching her play in the WNBL. I was a floor wiper for some of her games, and then I've also played club basketball with her, and she's coached me as well. So really strong connection with Chloe, and when she got the job, as I said, I was very excited, and I'm excited for her to come down and see Tasmania, and for the community to get to know her as well.
It's obviously based in Lonnie at the moment. Do you move to Hobart? Is there a way you can still live in Lonnie and train down here?
Yeah, so obviously that's the plan, to move down to Hobart for the summer, and with the new High Performance Centre we'll be based here and doing our trainings here, but there are going to be games in Launceston as well, which I'm really excited for, and I know probably half of Launceston's really excited for, so there'll be a bit of travel back and forth, but it's much different than getting on a plane and having to do that, so it's easy for me.
You've still got the bulk of your team still to be signed, but you've got a coach, you're well resourced. What are the expectations, I suppose, for the first season for this club? Yeah,
I think that was the other draw card that brought me to this club, is from day one is we want to be a winning team, and that's what Claudia's vision is, that's what the club's vision is, and hopefully we can get those pieces in that will do that. And I think, this club is a draw card, being with the High Performance Centre, with the people that are involved. I think it's going to be really exciting and a really fun team to be a part of.
You're going to need someone to lead the team. Does captaincy interest you at all?
Oh, I mean, obviously I love this community and that. I think captaincy is something that's earned, and it depends on who's a part of the team, all those sorts of things that come into play. Obviously I have a fair bit of experience as well, so we do know that part, but I think that's something that once the team gets together and we decide on that as a group, and if that's something that comes apart, then I'd love to be a part of that, but that's a long way off for now.
What about, sorry.
Have you sort of seen the growth in basketball in Tassie over the past few years with the Jack Jumpers and all that?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Obviously, I came in just as the Jack Jumpers started, and I think just to see that, I've been involved in a lot of basketball on the mainland and seeing that, and I think just the community support is something that's so different. I'll never forget my first game here at my State Bank Arena. I came in I think a pink top, and every single person had a green hoodie on. And I felt really, or a green jersey on. I felt really like, oh, I've worn the wrong colours here. So, I think just to see that community involvement and how it's grown, and then that excitement for what is the potential with the Jewels as well, I'm so keen.
What about, we're off to a good start signing Tassie players, I guess, and Tassie-based players. Is there room for more? Like Shana Thompson's obviously played in WNBL before. Taylor Mole, I'm not sure what her contract status is. I think she might be out too. Would you like to see a real Tassie flavour to this team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, having a pathway for young Tasmanian girls is great, and that's what the club's kind of championed from the beginning, and then bringing in those other pieces as well so that we're really successful is a big part of it. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Obviously, that's all Claudia and behind the scenes, and now I just sit back and wait and hear what happens. I go, oh, that's exciting. So I feel like my job's done a little bit and wait to the summer.
What about Micah? Obviously, you know her really well.
Yeah.
She's going to miss the whole season, is she? Or she chance to come back?
Yeah, I mean, not sure on Micah yet. Obviously, she did her ACL during season, had surgery quite late. So I think I'm not sure what her recovery timeframe looks like. And I know would love to be a part of this team at some point. We'll wait and see with her. But I think for her number one goal is getting healthy.
What about the comp itself? Obviously, you played in it for a long time. You're adding a new team, which opens up 10 to 12 more actual spots in the competition for players. Is the depth there, do you think, across the country?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at the number of Australians that just got drafted this week, it's ridiculous how many people have gone over to the WNBA, and that's our talent pool, and that's the people that we can recruit from. And then, internationally as well, there's so many Australians that we can bring back, and now there are more roster spots and more opportunity, and I think the league's growing in its professionalism, and I think the Jewels are going to be, top standard for that as well when we look at our facilities and the support that we're going to get. So I think it'll definitely be a draw card.
What about Elena? Obviously, WNBA now, but there's a chance like it could work out she could come and play here in the off season. Would you like to see that? Stupid question. I know.
Silly question there. Absolutely. I grew up with Elena, playing with her in junior teams and that sort of thing. She's just a phenomenal player, and obviously she's doing super well overseas. But if we could get her back here, how amazing would that be?
Her shout if she comes back.
Yeah, her shout, absolutely. For everything, the whole season.